Hi everybody, this is Marvel Movie News, and today we're talking about a lot of stuff. We're talking about Defenders, we're talking about Deadpool, we're talking about Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Defenders, Inhumans, and probably a lot more than that. So sit right there, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Hey everybody! How's everyone doing? Yay!
We did it!
I did it!
That's great.
We've got it.
Yeah,
We've got full Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I promised a couple weeks ago. And now,
Committed.
Now,
It's not
now here we
Comic-Con.
are. No, it's not Comic-Con.
He's recovered.
But you know what? No, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
There's a little bit more reason why this is appropriate today. Like,
something-
accidentally so, but still.
You
Yeah.
can tell he's recovered because his cloak is fully erect.
Yep.
That's how you know Matt's healthy.
That's how you know. Yeah, I've been taking my vitamins. We are in case you can't see us, iTunes listeners, I'm wearing my Doctor Strange Cloak of Levitation and Doctor Strange tunic with the demon on it. Anyway, hi. We're the Marvel Movie News. This is episode 141, coming to you live from the Quantum Realm. Thought that Quantum Realm's kind of
appropriate.
nice,
That's
right?
very
It's good.
funny.
That makes sense.
Or we can also call it Tinyverse.
Yeah, Tinyverse, sure. Microverse.
Microverse.
On our show, we tell you all the news from all the studios and why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News or find us on youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. Also on their website, popcorntalknetwork.com. On Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at the Popcorn Talk or on Facebook /Marvel News Show. And guys, if you'll tweet a link out with a message about our show and how there's a live chat and people can join it and everything else, Aunt Manthony from the booth will retweet you. Appropriate that we have Aunt Manthony today. Yeah, so anyway, I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key. This is Coy Jandreau, CoyJandreau.
True. Every time. Always true.
We also have Markia McCarty over there at Markeiamccarty.
Yes.
Did I do it?
You reminded me of a speak and spell.
M-A-R.
Markeia.
The cow goes moo.
Moo.
Those are great.
We've got Aunt Manthony in the booth, Colt Badeau tweeting from the Starjammer, and associate producer Ollie Drennan cannot join us today. He's got another show he's responsible for, but he helped us put the rundown together, and we always appreciate that. We also have a guest with us today, John Armstrong, the magician.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Been on our show before.
I have.
You did a comic called Smoke and Mirrors.
I did.
Yeah. How's that?
It was done, and
Now it's out.
sold, and it's went out, and it's been out there for a while. So
Good. Yeah. So go read it. So here's why it's appropriate that I'm dressed as the Sorcerer Supreme today.
oh, because I'm a magician.
Because you're a magician.
I see.
You're
You just want to make me feel more at home.
that's-
I see.
I get it.
I see.
I thought it was like National Magician's Day.
No,
Yeah, that was
no,
like
yeah,
Doctor
yeah,
Strange's
yeah.
birthday.
Yeah,
It's the
no,
magician's
no,
universe.
Nothing quite so pedestrian, you guys.
Excuse us.
No, John Armstrong is. We've had Brian Markinson on the show a few times as a guest on the Cosmic Couch. He's an incredible close-up magician.
Yes.
And you were the same. You're an incredible close-up magician. I've
Sure.
seen you do other things like that. You perform in the Magic Castle all the time. And that's how you were able to write a comic book called Smoke and Mirrors about magicians stealing money. Is that what it was about? Or?
No.
No,
I didn't
what, am I
believe
thinking about
that.
something else?
That was the plot of Now You See Me.
Now you
Yeah,
see me.
Now You
Okay,
See Me.
so I'm getting
Yes.
my stuff mixed up.
Yes.
But like yours was.
It was about a magician like myself, like a sleight of hand guy who gets transported to a world where magic is real, and then
That's
becomes
right.
the world's greatest sorcerer because no one's ever seen fake magic. So they're like, "What the heck is this?"
I like that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. I love it.
Where can you get it? Like Amazon, local
Amazon
comic shops?
Yeah.
Did they
It
speak
was
of-
IDW. It was a
Oh,
publisher.
rad,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, that's super cool. And you had a writing partner on that? Who was that?
Yeah, it was Mike Costa, who writes for Lucifer and also does the Venom book for Marvel.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
and he's done the Web Warriors book for Marvel as
Yeah,
well.
Venom book.
That was my buddy, and we wrote that together. And then Ryan Brown is who did the art. Who's,
Congrats, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Super cool. Yeah, and you're performing at the castle soon.
yeah, like a couple weeks, but don't worry about that. People can't get in. Don't worry about it.
No, but it's still cool. Like it's still cool that like you're active and you do it. And
No, but don't join.
Yes. No, you literally have to know someone who knows someone.
Yes,
for magic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The place is so
Yeah.
cool.
But the longer
is
you live
very
in Los
cool.
Angeles, the more people you meet.
That's true.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
So
thank you for
message
joining
Brian.
us.
So message Brian Markinson and get to the magic.
And if you live in
there you
Los
go.
Angeles, you will know one of the people Brian Markinson knows.
Yes,
Because that is how the web
that's
works.
how it works.
Yeah,
out,
that dude
yeah.
is kind of at the center of everything.
Yeah.
He kind of knows everybody.
That's true.
So thank you for joining us. One of the big reasons I wanted to have you here, other than your beautiful face and your incredible talents,
Oh well, there's that.
is that you went to every single Marvel panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
I sure did. I was in the room for everything.
Yeah, so like I wish I'd known that last week because I would have had you on last week when we had our super duper, super massive, gigantic Comic-Con
wrap-up
spectacular.
stuff,
But it's great to have you on this week because we covered all the movie stuff last week from Hall H because that's the panel that I was able to get into. But you saw Defenders, you saw Inhumans,
And Gifted.
and I thought it would be awesome to have you on to talk about that. So when we
Sure.
get to the television stuff, we'll talk to you about that stuff and
Absolutely.
get your opinions. So in the meantime, Markia, I apologize. I hope that you'll forgive me that I had to start with Deadpool news, but we got our first look at Zazie Beetz as
Yeah, I don't mind
Domino.
that at all.
I mean, there is a good
That
amount
was-
of Deadpool news. Pretty great.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Deadpool news is pretty great.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
Is it
That
Rugrats?
image is
Rugrats?
pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Pretty great.
It's pretty great.
So everyone forgive me, we had a printer issue here at the studio, so I'm reading off of my phone. I've got our rundown on my phone, so don't think that I'm over here just like tweeting along.
I'm playing Sailor Moon drops. So.
But Ryan
I'm seeing
Reynolds...
why those birds are so angry on my computer. Why? What did we do to you?
What have we done to you, birds?
They're so angry.
But we got our first look at Zazie Beetz as Domino, and she looks amazing.
Yeah, I love this.
Like I love it. I love it. It's very similar to how she appears in the comics. Like some slight differences, but nothing that's going to distract from the character. Like she's gonna kill this.
Can I say
Oh, love it.
the best part about superheroes being so diverse and everyone having different like abilities is that you can always identify, right? I never would have thought about giving her I don't know how to say it. It's the skin-
vitiligo.
Vitiligo. I never would have thought about giving her vitiligo and like having a skin condition
Like,
be
that
the
explains-
that explains the instead of makeup and like
Right.
everything else.
Wait,
like,
is
and
that what that is?
That's what that is.
Oh my
They're
God,
doing
that's amazing.
vitiligo.
So people
Yeah.
that have like rosacea
I had
and
no
skin
idea.
discoloration and like stuff like that,
Yes.
now they have a hero too, and that's like my favorite. Like this movie isn't even out or trailer, but I already am in deep love.
Yeah.
Like
From
now-
what I know of it, it's not a condition that's life-threatening, but it is. You can get medical treatment for it, but it's also it's not curable.
right,
from what I
right.
know.
So now the people that have like skin conditions that are visible and like this is a great
And you
hero.
have to honestly think. I can't think of any other character off the top of my head that I've seen on television or movies that had that condition.
Yeah.
Isn't that
So-
amazing?
Yeah, wow.
And I think that fits in so well with that character. It's just like, well done.
Yeah, it's
Well done
Yeah.
with that.
and what a fun like way to like she's the perfect character choice like as far as her acting and her now like the look is so iconic too. Like they made her instantly iconic.
I'm
when
going
was
to
that
enjoy
announced?
cosplaying this.
Today, yesterday.
But I
yesterday.
mean, the fact that
It's a skin.
Oh,
condition.
if you zoom in on it, there's like the markings and like it looks just like the skin.
Oh, so it wasn't
condition.
actually
Yeah.
mentioned that it was.
Well,
not
I can,
yet.
I can
I'm
see
sure
if
it might have been.
I can
but,
see if it has been, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it looks like.
which is I just think it's
Interesting.
amazing.
Oh, wow, look at that.
That's really cool. I hadn't thought about that. I just thought it was like makeup that she put on. She's
No,
like,
no,
"I'm
no. If you look,
Domino,
it's
here's
the
makeup."
skin. It's like amazing. It makes me really happy because like there's always like Professor Xavier people in wheelchairs and like there's these character associations with people and like
Yeah.
when I actually had a really hard time. This is the latest version of this, but looking at superheroes with beards and stuff, there's like a few and I can't imagine what it'd be like to have something that's part of your life that's so identifiable and not have something to identify with a hero.
Yeah.
And this is like
Amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm really excited.
So yeah, we've got Domino. So Domino, her real name is Nina Thurman, and she has an actual mutant power other than just being really awesome with guns and knives
Yeah,
and
then being
martial
able to
arts.
really sell a Deadpool skin.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like I love that she's on. Like the first picture that we
Yes.
saw for Deadpool was him like Burt Reynoldsing on
the rug.
On the
Yes.
rug.
Yeah.
And
And
now
then we
they're-
have her on like a Deadpool skin, and it's just like she's gonna kick his ass.
There's so many
Yeah,
layers to this
yeah.
image. It's meta about something that was meta the first time. It's
Yeah.
like sequels are supposed to be escalation. This is escalation of meta. This is
Yeah, this
growth
is meta
from-
escalation, yeah.
Like I didn't even know how much I needed that image. So I've got this image, the first still from Deadpool 1, hanging above my TV, and there's a little space beneath, which this is now going in.
Oh, that's
So I know
awesome.
exactly where that's going. I'm so
awesome.
excited.
Nice.
But her power is basically that she has the world's best luck.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
She has a strange power. It's very similar to Longshot, where she can kind of manipulate probabilities in her favor. And I don't even know if it's like a conscious thing. She's just like, if I shoot my bullet off of that, of course it's going to hit John. But there's a dude in his way, and I don't want to hit, so I'm going to shoot this way, and it's going to bounce off and hit John. And it's like, oh, I slipped on a banana peel, but that's okay because I can recover mid-air and kick 3 guys at once. Like,
Yeah. Or, oh, here's that $100 bill.
yeah, or here's a $100 bill. I wanted to book that job. Got it. Or, oh, I just fell off of a building. How lucky that there were 30 mattresses right below me. Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's the anti-Black Cat.
Yeah, Koi probably knows better, but from what I remember is that she has it unconsciously, but then when she focuses on it, it's like a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
she can reshape reality to her needs. Plus, it's like, you know, a lean into it. Life's gonna work out, which is such a fun
Yeah, that
thing.
was my question: is how different it is from Black Cat as far as like just the whole luck thing.
So Black Cat has it where like a black cat crossing your path metaphor is that she can implement it, but it's always around her, the negativity. Like, stuff's gonna happen to you negatively whether you want it to or not. And she actually, like, there were times that she, like, had it removed so she could hang out with Spider-Man and stuff, but she can also, like, inflict it on you, whereas hers is more consistently a positive with a side of, like she said, when you focus on it, it's higher. So I guess it's a stronger version of the positive than Black Cat's is negative.
Got it.
yeah, but typically only for her. Like, I don't know that
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like,
I don't-
cool, you've got good luck now,
Right,
too.
you
Go
can't be
for
like
it.
Deadpool. Like, it's about her, whereas Black Cat can implement bad luck on others.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd want her on your side and by your side, like, the entire time.
Yeah, the entire time. But they Screen Rant spoke with director David Leitch, and asked him about her powers. Is it in the film and all that? And up till now, I don't think that we've had confirmation that she was actually going to have those powers in the film. But he says we're excited to play with that idea in choreography. I'm not going to give you how it's all going to play out. As a choreography, having a character with her abilities is really a trick. I think at first it seems like a problem, like, oh my god, how do you demonstrate luck? And then you just see it like, oh, this is the coolest opportunity ever, so we're really excited and we're really creating great stuff for her character. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it'd be something like near the ending scene of Jumanji, where the dice just lands on the one thing that it needs to land on, so then Jumanji can happen.
Jumanji!
So there'd be a lot of those.
And then, of course, we have Rob Liefeld, who anytime the Deadpool movies are coming out, he has to do, like, a year-long press tour.
He's the
you know what?
happiest. Rob
You know
Liefeld's
what?
just like, you
I
know
don't
what's
blame
great?
him.
Being the creator of Deadpool 11 years after the movie started getting pre-production.
Yeah,
Like, it took long enough.
I don't blame the dude, but it is kind of funny. He's like, Deadpool comes out in a year, better hit the press junkets. Like, I'm gonna hit every convention, gotta do my part. Like, go beat the drum, dude. I love it. But he essentially said that Zazie Beetz is possibly the best casting they could have done because she's in a lot of scenes with Ryan Reynolds, and he's like improvising left and right half of his lines, and he, like, Rob Liefeld basically said, but she's like killing him.
That
Like,
must have been such a
like,
hard
in
audition
every single
process.
scene, yeah.
Like, can you imagine trying to, like, with the first movie, when they had to cast those actors around Ryan Reynolds is one thing. Now we have expectations.
Yeah.
Like, the first movie, like, you
Yeah.
know, it's gonna make, like, we didn't even know if it was gonna clear 100 million that first weekend, and I'm
Yeah.
the biggest Deadpool fan, and then it made almost $1 billion. Now it's like, oh, the sequel to Deadpool, who do you cast to star opposite the people you know are amazing?
Yeah.
Like, the
you
stakes
cast
are so much
Thanos,
higher.
You
Yeah.
cast, like, a really hilarious actress from Atlanta.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you go like, oh, Atlanta was brilliant, and she kept up with, like, the writing plus Donald Glover plus the improv. Let's see how she does with Ryan Reynolds, and clearly, according to this, killing.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Real quick on speaking of Rob Liefeld, the creator, he says they also are doing the comic book version of Rush Hour.
Yes, what a great
Which
tone choice.
Works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
works.
Buddy cop
fabulously.
crazy, like,
Yeah.
action spectacular, plus like her fighting style with the luck. So now that we have the luck confirmed,
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to see, like, if anybody saw Atomic Blonde, it's the same director. Charlize Theron fighting in Atomic Blonde is insane. You add luck probability to that, like, you
Yeah.
make it intentionally an alternate universe where these things can happen. They're gonna have so much fun directing.
Yeah,
it
they're
and
gonna have so much
choreography.
fun, and he's talking about Ryan Reynolds and Josh Brolin as, like, the silly, ridiculous cop and, like, the gruff and tumble, like, soldier cop, and how
Okay,
they
but
just
they
play real.
specifically said Rush Hour. They didn't just say buddy cop.
Yeah.
And, like, Rush Hour
Yeah.
is, you know, there's Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. So I'm wondering who's who here.
Yeah, no, I know, right? I know. And then we also have the director explains the movie's approaches to Cable's origin. I'm just going to read you the quote. This is again to Screen Rant saying, I think besides all of Deadpool, sort of the film universe Deadpool, you kind of have to be selective of, like, how you approach these characters, because there's a canon of work that's so massive that you could never put it all on screen. So we've been really particular what we're going to put in and what we're going to leave for potential future if it goes that way, and I think you'll like it. It's all in the spirit of canon. and in the spirit of like Deadpool the movie is. So.
People reading comics and caring about character continuity?
I know.
What an idea.
I know. So
Using characters that are already established.
It's so cool when they read comics and use characters that exist.
but so here's the deal: do we think that he's going to be from the future? Like, do you think that that's an important element of his origin, of Cable's
Yeah,
origin?
he's
Always has been for me.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
right?
son of Gene and Scott. If he's not
Well,
in
for
the
me,
future.
for
How
me,
does
the
that work?
Well,
importance
it's not
was
actually
like,
Gene. It's Madeline Pryor, who's a clone of Gene, created by Mr.
He's
Six.
Scott's
we
son.
go.
He's a Summers. It's important to me.
I hate to will actually you, sir, but
well, actually, you sir.
for me, it was just like he was this epic traveler through time that was just trying
Yeah.
to make things better, and then things would just get worse. And
Yeah.
he's got that techno-organic virus. And
I love it.
And just like I just love all that gruffness together in like one package.
Yeah.
So
And I always
that's
loved
what worked for me.
him and
with
Bishop were like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
and I always
so it's
liked
like-
that. So if you don't have the time traveling aspect, then they're not. And
Yeah,
that's
he's
important.
got to time travel.
I agree. I
If
agree.
anything, I feel like I need that.
But if he's a time traveler, does he need to be the son of Scott Summers and
No.
Madeline Pryor? Do
I
you
don't
think
feel,
that we'll see
I don't
that?
feel like he has to be, because I think that will be just a lot of exposition that isn't necessarily necessary.
Sure.
I don't
And
think they'll
then
get
plus
into this
those are characters that they don't like own. So
No, Fox
It
owns
is
them.
Fox.
No,
It's Fox.
oh my god, I was
Yeah,
thinking
Fox- Fox has- yeah.
Fox. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking.
So here's what I think they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna keep him a Summers, but
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna make him like 5 or 6 generations descendant of Scott and Jean Grey.
Interesting.
Like I think he'll be like a great grandson.
They could easily do that.
Seems
I
to
mean,
make a lot of sense.
once
Yeah.
you put time play into it, I mean, sky's the
Yeah.
limit.
Yeah, you can really go as much as you want. I do think it's important that he's a Summers, but I could see them going that direction. I could see them also like just mentioning that he's like, you know, this character, then later down the road introducing his backstory. Because
Yeah.
this is the sequel. They have to introduce so much story, his powers, all of his weirdness.
Yeah.
So I think they could later on be like, oh, and then have another mic drop moment in Deadpool 3 or X-Force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like have baby Cable.
Oh, baby Cable.
It's like
Cable.
Photoshop Josh Brolin from the
like-
Goonies for the origin story. It's like
God.
Goonies, Josh Brolin loses his arm, like, ah!
Oh wow.
All right, so and finally, the director addressed the rumored Spider-Man connection. So I was not aware that there was a rumored
It's a
connection,
great rumor.
but apparently, so John.
I have no idea. About
All right,
this.
but you've seen Logan. So
Sure.
at the beginning of Logan, when Deadpool goes to save the old man, there's a rumor that I guess someone on Reddit probably was like, "Wait, is that Uncle Ben?" And
It's great.
and Deadpool could have saved Uncle Ben and then didn't.
Wow.
So now there's like this, are they related? Going back and forth. And then like there's the whole picture of him like posing like Spider-Man did in the posters, but in front of the X Mansion. So they Huffington Post caught up with the director, David Litch, and presented him with the theory. And he said, that's a really interesting question. I think that people should continue to theorize who that old man was.
I'd like to point out that we just said the Huffington Post caught up with the director of Deadpool 2 and asked him about a trailer in front of the movie Logan, an R-rated gritty superhero film, regarding Uncle Ben continuity with Spider-Man. 2017's awesome. What a sentence, guys.
Pretty amazing.
I just like how sarcasm really doesn't work in print.
It doesn't.
Because
It's
I'm
like,
pretty
I think
sure
people should
that
really
was
theorize.
that
Oh,
was
yeah.
sarcasm.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was sarcasm.
I'm pretty sure that was sarcasm. The only reason I threw it in here
This is so funny.
is because what if the old man is someone, and who
No,
could he
he's
be?
not.
But who could he be?
It's just random passerby.
No,
And then,
that's what I think too.
And then
Oh,
Deadpool, you know, is like, oh, I'll save him. The whole bit is not being able to change into the outfit.
The whole
in
bit is a
time.
commentary
It really
on
is.
Spider-Man, not that it is
Yeah.
Uncle Ben. It's like that's the it's so good. I want them to retroactively make that someone important though because of the internet.
Right.
Like the Childish Gambino
Because
album.
internet, yeah.
Wow.
But for real, like I'm now posing this question to you, the panel.
No, it's
Who
not.
could the old man be?
Brandon.
So-
Oh my God.
Silvermane.
Man was an
Random.
extra from central casting that day. That I'm believe sure.
I'm gonna go
Random
Silvermane.
guy.
Silvermane belongs to Sony.
I'm gonna go.
It can't be Silvermane. Sony.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, who else? John Jameson's dad. Jonah Jameson's dad. Oh, that's
Perfect.
Sony too.
Done.
There's so
Yeah,
many
there's
Sony.
so many Sony
Why are
owned
all
in.
the older men in
All
Sony?
the old men are in Sony. All right.
I'm gonna say that it was time traveling Captain America.
No, it's Cap when he
an old
No, it's
man.
more-
and
after
he
the
lost
Cosmic
his
Cube.
powers.
After the Cosmic Cube, that was Captain America. That's Steve Rogers and pre-Secret Empire guys.
Guys, it's obviously a scroll.
Obviously, it's
Totally,
Obviously.
obviously,
Totally a scroll.
Obviously, a scroll.
All right, let's move on to Runaways. We're gonna get into the TV stuff. We're getting to your stuff in a second, John.
Take your
What's
time.
up?
Highway Vitier. It's Thomas and Martha. Now, guys, Spider-Man and Deadpool can't fight because both their moms are named Martha.
Oh, yeah, that's been established. And nerd canon. That's a nerd canon now.
So Runaways is apparently taking place in the same universe as the Marvel Netflix series. There's really nothing
that makes
said
sense.
about that except that Jeff Loeb at Comic-Con was like, yeah, no, they're the same universe. But I don't. But it's Hulu versus Netflix.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So they're not really going to have any crossovers. So the going theory now is that we're probably going to get a bunch of like, have you heard about what's going on in Hell's Kitchen? Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No,
cool.
I'm okay with that mindset
Yeah.
because those can
Yeah.
exist on the same plane.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
these guys are in Los Angeles anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's the other coast. You can talk about
Yeah.
the East Coast having all these other superhero problems and everything else
Yeah.
that actually having to
Yeah.
like, why would they run into each other?
That's
cool.
my guess. Yeah.
And it all
John?
takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, guys. Don't you know that, right? I mean,
The incident.
The Netflix stuff obviously takes place in the same place. Yeah,
Throwaway
it's like
lines
that
of
little
dialogue.
Tiny, it's throwaway line of dialogue. That's it's not the same.
So at the TCA, let's see, Jeff Loeb also said that the Runaways is the OC of the Marvel Universe. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I did like the first season or two of the OC. I don't know that I loved it and remember anything about it, but I did watch it.
I know what people mean when they reference it.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I didn't watch, but a lot of people talk about it.
It's,
so I felt like I knew it.
I believe you could call it a televised building roman.
Yeah.
if you will.
I know, like the One Tree Hills and the Dawson's Creeks.
I mean, the OC brought us such greats as Adam Brody, who was once the Flash in an unmade movie. It
Yep.
brought us. Did it not also bring us Chris Pratt, our own Star-Lord?
I don't know that it brought us. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, Chris
He
Pratt was on there.
Che.
Logan Marshall Green, who was Prowler. I mean, who was a Shocker for a minute.
Okay, so Tom Hardy too.
Tom Hardy too was in it. Venom / Shocker.
Also Ben McKenzie, who's now Jim Gordon.
See, without
on
the
the
OC,
greatest,
we're
the
nothing.
greatest television show ever.
Shailene
Gotham.
Woodley was on
Oh,
6
boy.
episodes.
Oh, okay.
Just figured to point it out.
Okay. I'm like,
She's not in the MCU, but good for her. She didn't start there.
Cool. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of Molly Hernandez having like I don't know, a Luke Cage doll or like a Luke
Yeah,
Cage
that would
hoodie
be
that she
cool.
pokes
Ooh,
holes
that'd be
in.
cool.
That would be cool.
You
Like
know,
she
something like that.
she idolizes Luke Cage.
That'd be like a little bit of flair. I mean,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
that'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
If they decide to go that route.
And like, I still can't get over how good that picture looks.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite
It's
images.
exact.
Yeah, it's pretty
God,
great.
I can't wait. I wish they would set like a time for it to come out, but Josh
Does it still
Schwartz-
have a release date?
I don't think it has a release date yet, bruh.
I thought it was. Oh, it's just generally fall, like late fall.
I think so.
That's
Yeah.
soon,
I thought
though.
it was November. I'm pretty sure.
Is it November?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like you were at every panel. I was only at the Hall Age one, so maybe you saw something I didn't.
That
I'm
would
gonna
count
say-
as late fall.
I'm going to say it's November. And I'm going to go so far as to say it's November 11th, if I remember correctly. Because again, I was at every single panel they had. So.
All right. Well, John confirms.
I
Yeah.
confirm. I've always wanted to be. Oh man, guys, you just
John
made
confirms.
my year.
John confirms.
That is so good.
He can time travel. He's a magician. He watched it on November 11th, and here we are.
There you go.
So Josh Schwartz, the co-runner on it, who was also, I believe, the co-runner or the showrunner and creator of the OC, said, "We didn't view it as a superhero show. We viewed it as a coming-of-age drama family show inside of Marvel." So,
That's great.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they have their powers.
yeah, as long as they've got
know?
their
Let's
powers.
Keep
They
it
have
grounded.
their powers.
What if it's grounded?
It's already grounded. It's a coming of age drama, and I want some powers.
All right, so we've got new Warriors. They have cast Flash alum Keith David, this gentleman.
Yeah, that guy's voice is awesome.
No, it's great. It's great.
Excellent choice for
He is
anything.
playing a man named Ernest Vigman and is described as an original character who is a caustic municipal employee who butts up against the hopeful energy of the New Warriors.
He plays that kind of character a lot.
My interpretation of that character is he's like the head of he's like the head janitor at like a government facility, and the New Warriors like destroy it, or like he's like a transit employee or something, and like just the New Warriors like break something or ruin something, and they're Am I interpreting municipal correctly? Like he's a city worker?
Yeah,
right?
there's got to be something like that. Yeah.
That's what municipal means.
Yeah, so like I'm just like interpreting it like he like is this disgruntled like, oh, damn kids.
It's a coming of age movie, so that's like the right level.
Well, I don't know that New Warriors is coming of age.
I would assume that.
New
There's
Warriors
the
is probably
casting
more
and,
like a
like,
reality show kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking
So-
the age-wise, the way they cast it.
The
it's got that
age-wise,
flavor.
absolutely, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, we don't know anything else about it except that he's a caustic municipal employee, and that he's an incredible actor.
Keith David v. Squirrel Girl is happening.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying that voice and Squirrel Girl are gonna happen, and that's exciting news.
Like you said it, I hadn't pictured that, and then you pictured it as like
That's gotta happen.
as if I wasn't sold on the show already. The Gifted, which we need to hear from you, sir.
Sure.
Emma Dumont, who plays Lorna Dane, maybe it's Dumont, I don't know. I just like saying Dumont, is playing Lorna Dane, aka Polaris, and she was speaking to Den of Geek, and essentially said that they're going to address modern day bigotry, saying, yeah, I'm going to straight up say, you guys, our show's about bigotry. I'm sorry, but when we see it in the first scene, when Blink's running for her life and a cop could easily kill her dead with zero consequences because of prejudging her for something people are uncomfortable with, that they don't understand because people are born with this thing, and that is literally where we live. It's heartbreaking, but I hope the show throws a mirror up to society. So,
Great quote.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
And by the way, if you're not familiar with the X-Men, that's what the X-Men have always been. Like the X-Men have always been like, hey, this is some nonsense. Like you guys, like they can't help that they were born with this incredible thing. Don't hate them for it. Like they're good people who just want to exist in the same world as you. So stop it.
And that it's like
yeah.
a time. That's why it's so timeless. That's why the X-Men should be really good movies, and why there's so much potential. Because that's like, if anyone identifies with ever feeling like an outsider, the X-Men might register.
Yeah.
So like that kind of comic, and like that's why the movies never quite. They always felt like mutant movies, not like X-Men movies to me. And I think we're getting closer and closer. And if this show does that, I will take back everything I said. I'm really excited. And the last trailer was amazing.
Yeah.
So I want that. If this is the feeling of the show, then great.
Yeah, and then think about it with X-Men. You get the real nuance when it comes to being the other, because like you have the others of the others, the ones that can't pass for human, like some of the other X-Men can, and then you can have things like Brotherhood. Then you get into underneath the sewers, and it goes on from there. The Morlocks.
Oh,
so,
they do Callisto and
yeah.
Mask and the Morlocks. Oh, Marquia, you just.
I'm telling you,
went directly
it's like
from
if
my
they're
heart.
if they're going for the bigotry, I really want them to go for the full of it. Like let's say season 2, they start going with humans that can't pass.
Yeah. Like I mean, like this. I think this is a really important thing to acknowledge because like the X-Men were born out of the Civil Rights Movement. Like Professor X and Magneto are Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like Stan Lee has said that. Like, so for like I don't know. I'm very excited to see what they're doing with that. Anything else before I move on to Legion, and then we start giving the floor to Mr. Armstrong?
I saw like 2 major clips at Con that were not part of the trailer. And
Really?
Yeah.
Tell us all about it, John.
Yeah, this show is great, guys. This show is genuinely just incredible, honestly. And what
You're talking about our show or Gifted?
this show here that we're on, and the Gifted's okay.
I like them.
You can keep coming back, Armstrong.
No, what's really great about this is that I think by removing it from all continuity, by removing it from the movie continuity, with not trying to make it a shoehorning it into the stuff we've already seen, it makes it its own thing, and it's great.
Yeah.
I've heard you guys talk about in the past about how like bringing in the new characters, but in this case, because you have these existing characters and these newer characters with these new powers that do not exist in the comics, I actually think it's a nice fresh take, and you see what's going on with there. The way they're dealing with the Sentinels, with the little spider robots, that's the Sentinels.
Yes.
So fun.
The
idea of Sentinel services, and as though there actually has been an X-Men or has been a Brotherhood, all that stuff has actually happened, but somehow they're all gone. Like anyway, it looks really great, and the scenes I saw were super great. There's just longer versions of the versions that I saw in the trailer. Yeah.
So, is there anything that you can add about those scenes that you saw, like any secrets or anything like that that our listeners and viewers would get excited for?
Well, we had a much longer version of the scene where he's being bullied, and he basically won the Stucker, I think it's the last name.
And Andy, I think.
Strucker.
Andy Strucker.
The kid is being bullied by these other kids, and he's being dragged back, and he gets put in the shower, and then that's where I think that's where you see it in the trailer, in the shower, and he's struggling, and suddenly then huge implosion happens. So, and it just, there's a lot of nice it feels warranted. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like, oh no, he's in trouble with powers. Like it's like you feel all this tension. You feel so incredibly bad for him, and then his powers save him, and you feel worse for him
because of the world that he lives in.
Because of the world that he lives in. Yeah,
yeah.
The whole it's pretty great. Like I really thought it was amazing. Yeah. So.
That's awesome. Okay, do you have an idea of what his power is? Because they haven't really announced that stuff, and the going theory right now is that he's a bit like Magneto, where he can kind of control metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's Magneto-esque, I think, but I think it has more to do with just anything towards him. It's not just, he's doing the metal, but it's not only metal, because there's another scene in which he controls something else that doesn't look like metal at all, and that's when he meets with the Blink and the other people and their little lair, wherever that might be. So it just looks like he has sort of like force powers, telekinesis? Yeah, telekinesis type, heavy telekinesis type powers. Yeah.
Cool. And his sister is the same.
His sister's the same.
Cool.
Yeah, but more like barriers. So it looks like she could do barriers and
shields
domes and shields and things of that nature.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. I mean, I'm already like when the teaser came out, I was like, all right, I don't hate it, but I'm not on board. Then the trailer came out and immediately was like, yeah, give me more.
It seems like one of those shows that's got at least 4 or 5 seasons in it.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. As he was talking, I was like, I wonder how many seasons we're gonna get out of this.
I can see 4.
You think so?
Yeah. I can see 4 seasons of it.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can get some people from the show on the show, because I know a couple of the writers over there and stuff like that, so that'd be fun to get them on. So, Mr. Armstrong, you're wearing a shirt.
Yes,
that bears Legion on
true.
it. Let's talk Legion real quick.
It's the greatest show on TV.
It was
fantastic.
Heck of a
it is
show.
fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Looking forward to season 2.
This was the swag from being in the panel.
Wait, you got T-shirt swag from?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. When was that panel? Was that at the evening? I want to say.
I think it was right before Inhumans, actually, on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and Hall H or Ballroom 20?
No, Ballroom 20.
Yeah. Ballroom 20. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I get so excited when there's shorthand for when you know what people are talking. Ballroom 20, Hall H.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm just excited. I can just walk into things whenever I want to at Comic-Con. It's pretty awesome.
Do you just know people?
Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I just get in where I need to go.
Nice. All right. So Dan Stevens hints at new powers for Legion, and this was at San Diego Comic-Con, so you can probably talk about this a little bit. But the quote that he has with comicbook.com is, "We haven't even really scratched the surface of the number of characters or entities that are contained within Legion. The Shadow King was obviously one of them, and a large part, but there's a lot more going on, and anyone who knows the comics knows the scope of the world in which it's set. So yeah, there's a lot more to dig out of his head."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they announced a new actor who's playing the Shadow King. And
that's right.
There's a new, and his name is escaping me, but it's a very large man.
Yeah. Well, the Shadow King was a very large man.
Yeah. And so, I think they're saying that Aubrey Plaza is going to still be at Plaza. It's still going to be around, but the major manifestation of the Shadow King will be this new actor.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be fine, but I'm like, oh, no, I liked Aubrey.
She's so good, man.
Yeah, she's really good.
Just she was like Heath Ledger, Joker level, and that final episode, the last 2 episodes with her, I was just like,
yeah, and then also
I had no idea
that
you
best
could act
friend
that
would ride or die for you, but
Yeah.
turns out that they're not your friend, but they kind of are.
She twisted it so good. Oh, if you're not watching Legion, go watch Legion. It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's only 8 or 10.
So it's quick and easy to catch up on. It's a dense show. There's a lot of jumping between realities and stuff like that, but it within a couple episodes it very quickly writes itself, and you can kind of figure out where everything's going.
In camera editing, that's all you need to know. I've never seen anything like the visuals they did in camera in the show. It was so stunning. It actually made you go I rewound scenes in the middle, threw off the groove of the show, then rewatched because I was just like, what did they just do? So
and Jermaine's fantastic.
So good. I saw a dude cosplaying as him at Comic-Con. I was like, oh my god, there's a dude cosplaying
just wearing
Jermaine.
a lounge suit and some thick hair.
Yeah, essentially, but it was the exact suit. I was like, where did you?
That's amazing.
Wow.
That. So, let's talk Defenders and Inhumans,
Yes.
John. Now, I'm going to let you decide
Together.
which to talk about.
Let's start with the bad news first.
So, Defenders. I'm just
No.
kidding. I'm just kidding. What happened with the Inhumans panel? Tell us all about it.
So they showed 4 clips, and then they showed 4 clips, and then after the 4 clips, they showed the trailer, and then after the trailer and all that stuff happens, they invited everyone down to this IMAX where they're going to show all the clips actually in IMAX.
Whoa!
And they had this big party, and the big thing for it was free food. Come get free food, and the cast will be there, and there'll be free food. So we well did that.
That's cool. So,
yeah.
So wait, they showed clips first.
They showed clips actually in the room on the screens that you are very familiar with in the Ballroom 20.
And then the trailer, and then they're like,
And the
hey,
trailer.
come to
Come
now
down
IMAX
the street
for
to
the same,
IMAX, and we'll see the exact
clips?
same clips, but this time in IMAX.
did IMAX make a difference?
No, it was just it was just. Wow, these are very pretty, but it's the same still clunky dialogue, and it's really bad dialogue.
IMAX can't make dialogue better.
I wrote some of this down. I've been looking for you. You're one of us. You're Inhuman. You're safe. Like that's when Trine comes out. Trine comes and grabs her.
Do we know who that Inhuman is? The girl?
No, she's supposed to be someone created for the show, and they've been very sort of cagey about who that is supposed to be. Actually,
by the way, there's possible spoilers in this kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want to see like the first or 2 episodes of Inhuman or whatever, just maybe turn off the show for 5 minutes and come back to it after you've seen it. So keep going, John Armstrong.
So so you see, like, the boot goes down on the ground. These guys are guns, and they're in their sort of action gear, and they're going after Triton. Triton runs down, gets this girl, and it looks like at the end, after this very, very bad exchange of dialogue, where they must have tried it, they shoehorned in the word inhuman as many times as humanly possible.
Inhumanly possible?
Inhumanly possible.
Do I feel a drinking game coming on?
Yeah.
Now we'll see it in IMAX.
Yeah,
Actually, sold.
Because in the next
Okay, now we have to
in the
see
next
it.
few scenes, they keep saying inhuman. They're just trying to hammer it over. As much as they were trying not to say it back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in the day, they're saying it to make up for all the times they didn't say it back
So
then.
they're like basically using it as like a grammatical period. They're just
Basically,
like,
yeah, because you're an inhuman. What about the humans think? You're about humans. You're one of us. You're an inhuman, and you can't, because you could stop that sentence by saying you're one of us. You could just say that, and instead you're one of us. You're an inhuman. They make sure they add inhuman as much throughout the whole thing.
It's kind of like when Pokemon just say their own names.
Triton, Black Bolt. Triton, Black Bolt.
Again, that's a show I'd watch instead.
And again, I mean, you could read slash films about this and a bunch of other people, but most people agree that the dialogue just not only didn't sound good, but it wasn't delivered very well between the two, like it just exchanging it. Again, I'm a big fan of your show. I listen to what you guys say. Guys, this has nothing, the problem with the show has nothing to do with embracing the Kirby or the craziness. The problem with the show is bad writing, bad plotting. That's what this, and people who do beautiful visuals. I mean, the visuals, which you see them on the screen, were amazing. And that's it. I've given you all the good things I can tell you about this show.
So who was one of the major writers on who was
Scott
that?
Buck.
That was
Well, showrunner Scott Buck.
That's right.
Iron Fist Scott Buck.
Scott Buck.
Yep.
I just think if you can't do it
I
right,
was
you
being
shouldn't do it.
facetious, John.
Oh, okay, Chris, because I didn't get that because it was in print and I don't understand sarcasm in print.
So can you tell us about the other
Yeah,
scenes
so
that you
the
saw?
scenes. Okay, so the next scene then takes place at a dinner sequence in the Great Hall of the Palace, and
in Adeline, on the moon.
And again, and it's on Adeline, and I get the feeling that the art direction is actually very good. It looks good.
Cool. Okay, that's good.
It looks very
So
cool.
we do get to see some space palace.
Yeah, it looks neat. It looks like you would imagine that. I've seen those scenes, in that chamber before, in the comics, and it looks like that. And so Maximus is very upset with Black Bolt about the fact that he sent Triton down on this mission, but didn't tell anybody that he was sending Triton down on this mission.
He's a king. He doesn't have
Right?
to.
And so now Black Bolt responds. But as you know, Black Bolt can't speak. Well, he can't speak, but if he does, blah, blah. And so he then has to communicate through Medusa. Now imagine you are reading out very stilted dialogue. And the dialogue itself is not very good. But then you're having to do that dialogue while you are signing through this sign language that they invented. and then someone else is actually doing all the inflection, which means the stilted dialogue sounds even more stilted and completely disconnected from how it is. So imagine, okay, so it's like when you watch or see one of those things where there's a translator, and this translator speaks in full language of this, and then stops, and then now the translation. Okay, now we go back to the language in the original, and so there's this break. So it slows down everything. And towards the end, she is now beginning to speak at the same time that he's making the hand gestures. But even then, it's like so like laborious through the whole thing.
They didn't use real sign language,
No, they already decided.
They were very
way
against
back
the using, because they said this in the panel. They were very against using real sign language. So they didn't want to offend anybody with the real ASL and ASL. Yeah.
Giving people something to identify with would alienate them.
Okay, that's faulty
Yeah, it doesn't make any
thinking.
sense at
That's
all.
faulty thinking with
Yeah,
that.
so they wanted to create something completely
train
themselves,
an
yeah.
actor
To
to do American Sign
would
Language
be honoring them, not.
Yes,
doesn't make any sense.
that's something that makes sense, and you can't say, but they're aliens on the moon.
So not to
they're
defend the
speaking
point.
English.
Yeah, not to defend the point, but
So
exactly. Not to defend the point, because I'm not defending the point at all. But I guess their idea was that if they are from Atlanta, it was staying there, they wouldn't be doing quote unquote American Sign Language. And as you know, there's like many different versions of sign language. So it made more sense for them to create this sort of cobbled together of different sign language. But yeah, that's and so everyone's sort of then taking sides, but then Maximus, this is the first time it's then being said that Maximus is human. Because
you were talking to me about this.
He goes through Terrigenesis, because this is. I mean, I'm reading. He goes through Terrigenesis.
his Terrigenesis is him becoming human,
and he became human, and that's his Terrigenesis. So either A, they're hiding the fact that he has any kind of powers whatsoever, or he's hiding the fact that he has powers.
Which they've done in the Inhumans comics. Like there was a character who went through Terrigenesis, came out virtually unchanged.
Right.
But then it turned out they could go through like mirrors and stuff like that, and no one just ever saw it. Like,
and no one knew about it, right?
Yeah,
so
and like he worked with that character worked with Maximus, who was in prison. Like,
so it's possible he's hiding his powers, but they keep saying to him over and over again here, you're just a human. You're just a human. You're just a human. And so then the next scene when when him and Medusa, when he's like, we used to be buddies and we used to hang out, and what can't we be friends? And she's like, you need to support your brother. Your brother is the person who is the king. I support the king, and that's the first time you get to see the hair move.
Yeah,
and
it looks horrible.
No. Now I want to be very clear about something else before I go on to this. Okay, I am in the bag for this stuff so hard. I am not a hater. I love Thor 2. I'll defend that movie left and right. I love this stuff. I love fantasy. I love the way it looks. I love all the Marvel films.
Yeah.
This is probably the first thing that has come out since I think the rebirth of Marvel.
Yeah, since Iron Man in 2000.
Since Iron Man, yeah. Especially something involved with the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I can go, boy, I just don't like it. Not a fan.
It's not the Bubbleverse. This is how it happens. This is how we lose everything.
This is the first thing. Yeah, and so the hair looked bad. And what I was saying before is that originally, as you all know, this was supposed to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe film.
Yeah,
fit in the main continuity. And I think they're hitting the same problems in this show that they were hitting with trying to make it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which was that there's all this exposition that you have to do for the layperson, people who don't read the comics, who don't know this stuff. It's just going to just look like, weak sauce X-Men, right? And so they're then having to then take this, we don't want to deal with this, you TV guys deal with it, and now they're doing it over a longer form, which they thought was going to fix the problem, but it's not, because
less
money to invest into it, to be able to make all the powers make sense. The only thing that looked kind of great was Karnak.
And there you go, right back to Karnak.
Yeah. That's the only thing that kind of looked great. That scene was great, but again, all the dialogue leading up to it, horrible, horribly delivered, the scripting is up, and then he gets to the point where he then looks like he dies and steps back and goes, okay, if I fix this and fix this and fix this, then I'll be able to win this thing. And that looks pretty great. But again, boy, oh boy, it was tough sitting through that. And as I was telling Matt before the show, do not believe the Hollywood Reporter when they mention this, because after the first clip, the one that the most horrible of all the clips, by the way, the first clip, lights go black after the clip is over, silence. Light goes back on to Jeff Loeb. who's standing there kind of going, huh? And then finally applause. The most tepid applause I have heard in the 20 years that I've been going to Comic-Con. I'm not joking. No boos, no catcalls. Trust me, I've heard that stuff in the past in other panels. But trust me, this was super. No, people were like, really?
You know what it was? It was the sound of disappointment.
Yep.
That's what that was.
The crippling sound of
kind of
disappointment.
Okay, Misty, you're gonna hang out over here. It's kind of like it sounds like the worst game of Train ever. You know, what they have with Medusa.
I know a game. I've heard it called Train. I'm curious what Train you're talking about.
No, it's
I really
where
don't
you
know
whisper in someone's ear.
Oh, like Chinese whispers or telephone. That kind of thing, yeah.
Oh, telephone. That's the one. That's the one. Either that or it's like it's Sigourney Weaver's powers at the beginning of Galaxy Quest, where it's like she repeats the computer.
Yeah.
It's like that's her job on the ship.
Right.
Well, that is disappointing.
It was. And Jeff Loeb just could not. You could see, like, he comes out in the beginning of the panel wearing a Medusa wig. And wearing the big, huge red wig, and then the actress comes and snatches it away. That's their sort of like a little, we know what you guys have been talking about kind of thing.
Oh, was it the original wig?
No, just a wig.
How'd it look?
It looked like a big red wig.
Okay.
That's what it looked like.
This has nothing to do with his story. I'm just curious.
Was it a good wig?
Was it a good wig?
Yeah,
was it better than one that
And then
you
he's trying to get the crowd pumped into this and everything. And I have total respect for this guy, but it just it was fell flat. And it was very tough, very tough.
Can we talk about Defenders real quick? Because
Sure.
we do have a little bit more news to get through. So how was Defenders? Because you got to see the whole first
I saw
episode.
the whole first episode. Saw that Punisher trailer. Amazing.
Yeah.
So good. I think there's a fine line to walk with that character. And I think they're doing this very, very well. And Barathol, I think we all, I've heard you all say this in the past, but they all agree that he does a really good job with the role. And I think it got a little. There was one scene where he's like sort of playing guitar, and then his flashing back to when he was trying to teach guitar to his daughter, and that seemed a little over the top. And I imagine in context that would actually look a lot better. But everything else, like when that whole sniper shot
from like El Paso and Juarez.
Because when it was revealed that he was that far away, because you were like, why is the sound like off? It sounds like the sound is off. Because you see him get shot, and you hear the shot, and you see nothing, and then finally you see he gets the blood, and you're like, is the sound off? Is something wrong with the thing? And then cut back to boom, when he's all the way across the border. Amazing, like super well done. And then they showed a clip from the first episode, which it was kind of a dodge, because later on they actually showed the first episode of Defenders, where Jessica is helping out the Punisher, and because we read all that, and the first episode was amazing. And the one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is not spoilers at all, but Sigourney Weaver is incredible, and I think there's nothing more I can say other than that is an embodiment of somebody who is a villain but completely believes she's 100% in the right, and it doesn't feel cheesy over the top. It's great. So for first episode of something that's only going to be 8 episodes, it brings it together well. I was saying it's like the first 20 minutes of the first Avengers film, where you kind of have to set up all this exposition, but it still kind of moved along at a good pace. That's what this felt like, and it's super, super good. I'll look back at my notes because I was reading all this stuff, but it's super great. I would say that. And by the way, Iron Fist looks like he can move.
So he looks good.
He looks good. He looks like he moved, and he's actually quite joyous. Like he is definitely the character there that is being played for any sort of levity and lightness.
Good.
Yeah,
because that's who he is.
We need him.
Yeah.
He's not this,
brooding businessman.
And then before this, they announced that they're giving him a second season, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you can see that this is in Hall H, right? So but not twice the size, but almost twice the size of Ballroom 20. So about 6,000 versus 4,000 people, basically. Yeah. And so you can see people going, oh, okay. Sure. And then they say, okay, and we're going to do this. It's going to be completely different last year. And then you can say, oh, yeah! Okay. And he makes a slam on himself about I have so much more time to train and
good. Like we talked about,
yeah, and I think that's happening. So you see that I think in Defenders, you see that he's actually
that's
working
what I said.
on
The
this.
first thing I said when they showed the hallway is that like him in that one punch looked better than any single punch he threw in an entire season.
Yeah.
Like that one moment was already like fight training happened. Good. So I'm excited for season 2. I mean, I'll worry about the Elektra writer, but like I'm excited to see what a new team can do with a character that's so beloved after a year of criticism. Like they read the internet, they know what works and what doesn't. We speak and that turns into things. So like the internet needs to vote with their wallets when it comes to things being released in IMAX that maybe shouldn't, and when it comes to good quality TV, maybe they should like show
Have
things
you read
that work.
The original Elektra script?
Yeah, it's better than the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's still not great, but it's better than the movie.
It's better than the movie. And I think the directors took a lot of liberties with here, that, or there.
Exactly. So
I think the script actually has a lot of potential, and especially now that I think so much has happened in the with TVs and movies. I think he definitely is.
I think. Oh yeah.
I have faith. Like
season 2 is going to be good. I think.
Yeah, I think after I read the script of his actual script, I thought it was not bad. Yeah, not bad.
All right, well, let's move on to Jessica Jones real quick, where we saw Rachel Taylor, who plays Trish Walker, aka Hellcat. We saw her kind of teased. Oh, hey, wait. So we're going to do that. I forgot we have some new Defenders post pictures to look at. But we got her, and she's wearing a blue jacket. You can't really tell where we're sitting, but it's a blue jacket with yellow. And those are like the Hellcat colors. And she kicks she kicks a dude's ass.
A very Hellcat thing to do.
She saves Malcolm Ika Darville, who plays Malcolm.
Seems like she's coming along nicely from season 1.
Yes. I'm excited to see her fully embody the Hellcat. So let's go back to the Defender stuff real quick. There's no new reveals here. We have a new poster. And then we've got a picture of Karen and Foggy together, which is kind of exciting because she's apparently now a journalist, which one of the weaker things from Daredevil season 2 for me. But cool, whatever. She's a journalist, and he's an attorney at another law firm. Then we see these guys on the subway. We've seen it in the trailer.
It's Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Matt Murdock, sitting on a subway for our iTunes people.
And which is. It's just fun to see them together. Like that's all I want. I just want to see them together. It's so exciting.
Each of them are very on brand.
Absolutely.
Let's go to. We just see Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. He's in a suit walking. It's exciting. But here's the picture I wanted to show. Elektra looking at size, and she's wearing a red outfit. Like classic Elektra.
She's in an armory, and she goes straight for the size.
Like it's just great. I'm just excited. Yeah. That's like 2 weeks from now. That's
that's so soon.
Days.
That's like
super
not
close.
far.
I watch Defenders, and then I go to Burning Man, and then I come back and watch Inhumans.
Yeah, we do. But that's 2 weeks.
Drinking game.
Yeah,
that's such a good idea.
Game. Yeah, we will do a drinking game.
Yes.
And then a live reaction as much as whoever can hold the phone the most. Whoever's got their like tangibility.
Yeah, we'll periscope it.
I really think that the hair, I have hair.
Coy, they said it again.
Inhumans. So Captain Marvel's going to film in California. This is a big deal. I don't know what that does for the story of Captain Marvel, but it is kind of a big deal that they're filming in California because California only gives, I think, 20 film credit, kind of like tax credit things a year to bigger films. You have to apply for it. You have to prove like that you're going to bring X amount of dollars into California, that you're worthy of this tax credit.
Yeah,
that's
who knows
why
how long ago they applied for this.
Exactly, and but that's why so much of production is in Atlanta because Atlanta's like, come down, like we'll give you,
hey, we'll give
everybody tax incentives. Bring us your cash.
Before
we'll take
that,
Hollywood cash.
It was Louisiana.
It was Louisiana. New York had something like that for a while, so it's been all over. But California finally realized, hey, we're losing a lot of money. We should probably
finally realize.
Yeah, finally. It took years. So it's kind of a big deal that they're coming back here. Again, I don't know really what that does for the production. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference in terms of the story. Because they're going to shoot wherever they need to shoot location-wise, and they can throw green screens up and make it look like they're anywhere.
Right.
So.
Excuse me, I don't want to be that nerd, but Matt, they're shooting in space, so
so they got to use California space. That's the best space.
It's space.
California has a direct portal to outer space. So that's kind of it's just fun. It's just cool. We're excited about that. Thor Ragnarok director Taika Waititi shared a behind-the-scenes picture with Odin. We got Taika Waititi on the left and Chris Hemsworth as Thor on the right, kissing Anthony Hopkins in the middle, who's got full-on crazy homeless old man beard.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins. It is kind of funny to look at him and be like, that's a knight.
That's a knight. That's what I'm saying.
That's a knight. He protects the
That's
queen.
how you get knighted in freaking Ragnarok, man.
Yep.
That's how it's done. That's what Asgard knighting ceremony
I
is.
kind of like this picture because it kind of reminds me of just like a summer comedy that happens on a cruise ship.
It does.
You
It totally
know?
does. That's a Disney original movie starring
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins.
This is almost
Yes.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, it's good.
I just like the idea of Chris and Ty like in a relationship, and then there's something like, "Oh, Grandpa."
Oh, Grandpa.
I'm so
Are
excited.
they brothers or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like they're in like a gay relationship and like their grandpa hates like
He doesn't
homosexuality,
approve.
doesn't approve, and like
But then they go on a cruise ship
they
together.
go on a cruise and they turn his heart to gold.
And he realizes love is love.
Love is love. But so the picture's great to look at, but I just wanted to show it just to bring up, like, Anthony Hopkins does appear in this movie as Odin at
Yes.
some point, and
Yeah.
he is, I think Loki has sent him to Earth and taken away his sort of like Odin powers and made him forget who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that Odin is the thing that Hulk and Thor leave Sakaar to go find.
Right.
Like, sure, I could replace my hammer, but Odin was the one who put Hela in her prison.
Oh.
We need to get Odin again. Loki, where is he? I sent him to Earth. Cool, let's go get Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, where's Odin? I don't know. Let's find him. Like, that's my guess. That's my guess.
All right.
So
I'm so
We
excited for
shall
this movie.
see.
Cosmic
We shall
road
see
trip
in a
hunting
couple of
down
months.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
hunting down crazy homeless, actually Odin, Anthony Hopkins.
80%
Yeah.
improv, yes, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like-
have to think, what job did he take when he went down
When
on
he
Earth?
came to Earth, yeah.
Yes.
Well, I like to
What
think
is-
he doesn't
I
actually.
like to think owner of a dinner theater. That's what I think when I see this face.
When I see this, I see a thespian of all the repute, Anthony Hopkins. I see an incredible up-and-coming actor in Chris Hemsworth. I see a director who's done only crazy, wacky hijinks, and I think those two men on the right signed on to do a Shakespearean epic superhero movie with Kenneth frickin' Branagh, and
Yeah.
2 movies later, this is the movie they're making.
This
Like,
is the movie
what a
they're
weird
making,
arc
yeah.
as an actor to be like,
That's
it's going to be a very intense, very Shakespearean. Oh, wait, no, we're doing a cosmic road trip movie, and now you're crazy.
And now we're improvising 80%
And
of
Hulk
it. Yeah.
talks. Like,
yeah, and
what?
Hulk
Like,
can talk.
this is what changes. I love it. It's beautiful. It's the weirdest thing.
I legitimately think that Anthony Hopkins is a homeless guy who keeps telling people that he's Odin. He's the guy in
And
the
nobody
corner who's like,
believes him.
I'm actually Odin. Okay, crazy homeless guy. Okay,
I'm
here's
the
$1.
guy.
I feel very bad for you. He's actually Odin.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually
Yeah.
It's
Odin. So,
going to be good.
Kate Blanchett gushed over being the MCU's first female villain, as she says, I only realized that really when I got on set and you think, wow, it's taken this long to catch up. But Marvel is catching up at a rapid rate. You've got Captain Marvel coming out with Brie Larson, and I mean these incredible women who are in Black Panther and Scarlett Johansson, of course. So it took a long time, and
There's still a long way to go.
Still a long way to go,
Yeah.
but these are steps, and
Yeah.
these are very important steps. Like we've got that picture of, or that video of like the little bitty girl crying when she met Gal Gadot.
Oh, I love that image so
Yeah.
much.
Comic-Con.
It's great.
It's like, yeah, that's what representation. Like that's why you need it.
So
That's why it's so
amazing.
important. So, let me as a white male tell you how important representation is. But it is. So
It's good to be aware.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thor's first encounter with the Guardians of the Galaxy is set up in Ragnarok. So Chris Hemsworth speaking with IGN after the Comic-Con panel, they asked, like, does Ragnarok and Guardians, like, does it set it up? And he goes, it is. I think so. I think you'll have to watch our film first to understand what Avengers is about. So, but we've also heard rumors that, or not rumors, confirmation that the Thor Ragnarok trailer does not necessarily ruin anything about Guardians, like, or the Infinity War trailer where, like, you see Thor floating through space and then the Milano hits him or whatever. That apparently does not mean that Asgard is destroyed. Like, everyone was
Well,
like,
no.
but like a
doesn't
lot
mean
of
that.
a lot of people were like, if he's floating in outer space, did Hela actually win? Like he's in
No,
debris,
He's
so
a god. There's so many reasons that could have happened.
no, exactly. But he's essentially saying, hey,
Fell
it
off the
sets it
rainbow
up.
road.
That
He got
happens to
real
me all
drunk.
the time in Mario Kart. It's a very dangerous road to drive. I get
It
it.
is. It gets
Sometimes it
slippery.
happens, guys.
Slippery on the corners.
Even Heimdall falls off Rainbow Road when he plays Mario Kart. You can see everything.
And then finally on Avengers, Tessa Thompson revealed that part of the reshoots for Thor Ragnarok are the end credit scenes. So
that makes sense.
They're still filming those. Let's see. She says, we killed it. I mean, hopefully we did so many setups. And also, what was so exciting was like at the end of the day, you could see it cut in. You know what? There's nothing there to say. So yeah, society. Avengers Infinity. So I'm moving at like a kind of a fast pace because I know we need to start wrapping it up. But I should stop. Is there anything that you guys like that I've said? Like any ideas, any theories, any questions that you guys have? Like before I move on to Infinity War and then Black Panther and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No, I really do think Thor just got drunk and fell off the rainbow.
He had Doctor Strange with him. He's like, another mead, another mead, another mead.
He just has the one cup that just keeps you refilling.
That's all you need. The refillable cup. Yeah. So James Gunn recently explained Groot's age gap in Infinity War, saying people are asking about how fast Groot grows because in his appearance in Infinity War, he was an adolescent. This is exactly the same state of growth you saw in the post-credit scenes of Volume 2, adolescent Groot. So it's not baby Groot, it's adolescent Groot. So, I think I interpreted that as, I think this film is taking place 4 years later, right? After Guardians 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So is he about teenage?
I think he's saying like he's like 12, 13.
Okay.
Well,
so
his voice was changing and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's just at that,
prepubescent sort of.
Like pre-mutant power kind of thing. Because, that's when mutants are
and that makes
really
sense for him to get more powerful then if they play that, because he wasn't as powerful in Guardians 2 as he was in 1.
So it'd be like a steady, where's baby Groot? He was a baby, and then now it's like, branches
and
are just shooting out of places
coming out everywhere and not used to.
He needs to control
leaves in places he's never had before.
So
certain saps of nothing not sure to control.
Moss just grows everywhere.
It's just it gets messy, you guys.
Well, now you're gonna get to an age where moss just starts growing. Now you just gotta go with it, all right?
Totally normal. Totally
normal.
All normal.
Avengers Infinity War director addresses when the trailer will be released. This is Joe Russo speaking after, again, Comic-Con to comicbook.com. Says, all I can say is that when the footage comes out, we want it to be exactly right. So we are taking our time and working on that footage because, as you can imagine, the level of visual effects in this footage is unprecedented. There are certain things in this footage at Comic-Con that works for a specific Comic-Con audience. But when we go to go wide to a wide audience, we have to make sure that footage works for a wide audience. We're hard at work right now. I'm not going to give you a timeline because I want to surprise people. Hopefully they're patient with us. So sounds like we're probably going to be a while from getting it.
That's fine. At this point, who hasn't seen the leak? So.
Yeah, right?
The internet's known for patience, I think. So
yeah, if there's one,
I'd like comic fans
virtue,
specifically to wait to see footage from the greatest thing we've been leading up to for 8 years.
Yeah. We've been leading up to it for 8 years. Just cool down. I thought this was exciting. Joe Russo, again, one of the two directors of the Infinity War. They did Winter Soldier and Captain Civil War. Speaking about the Reality Stone and kind of each stone, he called them gems because that's what they originally called in the comic. He says, each gem has its own special power. We had to put a lot of thought into how we would represent those powers so it was clear to the audience. Not only are you dealing with a lot of characters, you are also dealing with the stones, the gems, and there's a lot of them. So for people to keep track of all of it, we had to get really specific. I won't divulge how we use the Reality Stone, but we do use it.
Interesting.
So, what do you think?
They do use the Reality Stone.
So you do use all of the stones, the Reality one indeed. So what do you guys think about that? Like, I mean, I know that's kind of a broad question, but like, what are your
That's how you saw Freedom of the Universe. I know they said they're not gonna, but
I know. That was my first thought too.
They keep saying that's not what they do. That's what you do.
What else are you gonna use the Reality
All of your
Stone
actors'
with?
contracts are up.
Exactly. It's gonna be this huge epic battle. Everybody's gonna be dead except for Hawkeye, and then he's gonna grab the Reality Stone somehow because it got chipped out of the gauntlet. I don't know.
With an arrow that he shot it out. Yeah.
He's got a glove arrow that launches out and grabs it, pulls it back like an arcade game.
Because Iron Man's blood loosened it. So,
right? And Cap Shield dislodged it.
And Cap Shield, like when it was exploded, it fractured into it.
What if Hawkeye has this incredible arrow? It's a trick arrow. It's a boomerang arrow that he loads with a fake Reality Stone that when he shoots it, you like how I draw my... Like,
it's the biggest arrow I've ever seen. Trick arrow.
He launches it at the Infinity Gauntlet. It hits the Reality Stone.
And
chips
replaces
out
it.
the real one and
Yep.
replaces it with the fake one, and then boomerangs back to him.
That seems logical. That
You know
seems
what?
like I've waited 10 years for that kind of sorcery.
Yeah. Hey, until the movie comes out, no one can say you're wrong.
Hey, thank you. Matt Key confirms that Hawkeye saves the universe.
Yep, that's what it's going to be, guys.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, Robert Downey Jr. owns all of the Hawaiian Islands or wherever. Like, they're running out of things to bribe him with. There's no way they don't soft reboot. Like, I know
Yeah.
everyone has said they're not going to, but, like, these people are doing physically demanding tasks, and they've been doing them for a decade. There's, like, there has to be a transition coming.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I
Downey
think there's a
Jr.'s
transition, but I don't think it necessarily means a small soft reboot. I just think they continue on with the actual history of things, and then people die and they stay dead. I think that's as simple as that.
I don't know if fans will want things to be as jarring as having the Young Avengers without the Old Avengers. That's what I'm worried about. I don't know if the day-to-day fan, now that we're so in love with... I mean, we just had a Pirates 5 for some reason. Like, clearly
It actually
nobody...
wasn't that bad.
Wasn't as bad as 4. It wasn't.
actually wasn't that
But, like,
bad.
that's people going to see Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow. I don't know how far we're going to get without someone as Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? That's my concern.
And no one else can just put on the mantle, be in the suit.
Downey
Well,
Jr.
there's
showed
still the
up.
voice. Yeah.
I don't know.
Still
I'm
the
just
voice
I'm
and
curious
the
where it goes.
attitude.
I'm just saying another person that they say is another person. I'm not saying like
Right, it's
another
not going to
person
be Tony
plays.
Stark.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I'd love
Yeah.
Riri.
Could
I'd
have-
love that or something in that vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with either, just because we've lived with it for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm okay if they do like a soft reboot. They have a different actor give a different way
Mm-hmm.
about their doing it, as long as Robert Downey Jr. like sponsors them.
But yeah, if
Kind of
it
thing
goes
where they're
off,
like, hey,
like, well-
everybody, this is cool. Da, 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 da. Or yes, continuance of story. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and have somebody else in there. For
Well,
that.
and Feige has said I think maybe a year or two ago that they're willing to make like Iron Man a bit more like a James Bond kind of character where other actors can play Robert Downey Jr. I personally would love to see them do something with like Riri Williams or Rhodey
Yeah.
or something like
See
that,
some
and have them become.
Ironheart.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
Winter Soldier take the mantle of Cat for a bit. Like I'd
Yeah.
love to see.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
some-
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Falcon.
Sebastian, yeah,
Yeah.
Falcon.
either
Or
one.
Falcon.
But Sebastian Stan is like so underutilized. I feel like he's so good in the moments that you get him. Imagine him as Cat. Like I want to see that for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a nice continuance. I can get
Yeah,
behind
and
that.
I do think that like Black Panther and Shuri, like between the two of like T'Challa and Shuri, they are both on the level with Tony Stark. Either one of
Yeah.
them could take the place of Tony Stark as like the like wisecracking billionaire philanthropist who can make incredible suits of armor.
That's actually very possible.
Like I think that
I
they
mean,
could take that
won't,
place.
They won't give
so
it the Tony Stark flair as it is, and nobody
No.
else can give
No.
that. But they will fill that niche very nicely.
Yeah.
In their own way.
So I do think that there's a possibility that we're going to get a Reality Stone soft reboot.
I think it's something in that vein.
But also, Thanos could be like, Robert Downey Jr., you're now a girl. oh, sure. Okay, I guess. Yeah, that's me now, I guess.
And then he's a 12-year-old girl because he's a girl.
Yeah. So I'm excited. Like, the Reality Stone is the one to me that I'm just like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the Reality Stone
Okay.
is
So
OP.
everybody's dead. Nebula kind of puts herself back together
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Click, click, creepy bone stuff.
And
Yeah.
then like reaches out and she just barely covers the gauntlet, and the only
Mm-hmm.
stone she can cover is the Reality Stone. And then that's how we get.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
I love it.
There we
So-
go. And then we get the fourth.
The Reality Stone gets utilized to bring in another reality, Fox. And then we get to share a universe because it's not a legal issue because it's in another reality. Fantastic Four and X-Men. Because it's not in our reality, guys. The Reality Stone. I'm sorry,
Fantastic
lawyers.
Phase 4.
You can't argue with this logic. It's another reality, lawyers. This is how it's done.
So
It's either the reality stone or the fanboy
Yeah.
stone.
It's 100% the fanboy stone.
Yeah.
It's like playing somebody else's music live at a concert.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, I didn't use that. I sampled it in a rap song. It's the Reality Stone. We're sampling these characters. It's totally fine.
all right, Vanilla Marvel.
You know, sometimes you gotta do it.
No. Fox's X-Men universe goes
Totally different. Totally
Our
different.
universe goes Yeah.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Fantastic Phase 4. Matt Key confirms.
That is maybe the oldest reference that I've ever.
Yeah, that's up there.
That's-
I mean, I immediately got it,
I'm
but
an
like,
old man, everybody.
you referenced a single note in a song from like 1987.
Yeah. I'm old. Avengers Infinity War will explore Vision and Scarlet Witch's relationship. So Elizabeth Olsen, speaking with We Got This Covered, essentially said, I'm just going to read it. in any other world, I would say, I don't know. But because there are paparazzi photos that kind of spoil things for fans, I think it's safe to say that we get to explore that part of the comic book. We get to introduce and really explore the relationship. It creates a really exciting arc for me, and I'm so lucky to work with Bettany at all the time now. So essentially, it would not, like, they would not say anything about, like, the romance between Scarlet Witch and the Vision, except that there's paparazzi photos of them kissing in character. So she's like, you know what? Screw you guys. It's ruined. Yeah, we have a relationship. F you guys.
Way
Thanks
to
for ruining it.
Yeah. Be like, go ahead, rewrap your Christmas presents and put them back under the tree.
So we can't have nice things.
I'm not buying anymore.
But think about this. There's somehow in the must be in monstrous plotting and scripting of this film, this monstrous film with all these characters, there's enough for a romance between two of them.
Yeah.
Think about that.
One of those
like,
is an android.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's amazing. Like how are
they use their 15 minutes well.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't imagine how they're putting all this together.
If you got 15 minutes left to live before somebody pulls a stone out of your head, you snog a Olsen.
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
That's the way you go. I mean, she's gorgeous. It makes sense. Android choices.
Yeah, no, but that's a good point. It's just like there's so
Android
much
life.
going on, and they still have
Enough
and
to,
there's
they're going to be able to work in this romantic thing. That's insane. That's amazing.
And
that's
I mean, that's the Russos. Look at the Civil War.
That's what I'm saying.
The
I think
airport
Civil War proves that these guys can do.
They know how to juggle.
That movie is far better than it ever could have possibly.
They introduced Black
been.
Panther in a movie with 20 other superheroes, and they gave him the coolest like mic drop. And then they made a better Spider-Man in 15 minutes than we'd had in like 2 Spider-Man.
No argument.
Like that's amazing. They had arcs and like story, and it was an action. It was dumping out your toys and playing on an airport playset for like 15 minutes. I never thought we'd get that. Yes.
Marquia?
What if that we have like this beautiful like cut screen of like this romantic goodness where we have, you know, Scarlet Witch and Vision, we have Tony and Pepper, we have maybe, you know, depending on how they do with the movie, T'Challa and maybe Nakia, you know, it seems like they're going that route with it.
Possibly.
We have Hawkeye and his family, and then utter devastation. And
Yeah,
then, you know, like
I think that's what
go
they're
back
gonna
to
do.
Scarlet Witch and Vision, and then there's Corvus Glaive's shadow on their window.
What if they use the reality stone to change Vision into a human, and that's a daydream of Vision's with the reality stone? What if the reality, that's another reality? What if him as a human is another reality that we're seeing?
So he's just dead in ours.
Like, yeah, like what if
I'm
that's...
sorry, I'm keep on like dead.
You
dead.
want everyone dead, man.
But
No,
we
what if-
already know it's gonna happen.
Go to the
I'm
DC
kinda-
show if you want to go Marvel, Marquia.
Mark
I'm trying
Ruffalo
to-
already told
I'm
us.
trying to soften it for other people.
Yeah. No, I that would be
That'd be
cool,
interesting,
and
right?
like I absolutely think that they're gonna, like what you're saying. I think that that's probably what they're gonna do is look at all these amazing, incredible, wonderful.
Like look at these
things.
journeys.
Like yeah,
that
like
they've
there's
come to. You've
like
come
life
along
is
with
hard,
us.
and like we've kind of Civil War was tough, but life has moved on, and we've
like we're
kind of figured out
trying.
our place in the world.
Registration,
and
pro registration.
no, yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Speaking of perfect, they have gone into production today. They released a new Twitter video. Aunt Anthony, I think you said that you had that pulled. Let's go ahead and watch that real quick. It's just like 10 seconds. Yeah, we got the chair there. See some Video Village there. Now
very
production.
cute.
Isn't that great?
Super cute.
Here's why
Sold.
I think that works so well. It's so in tone. Like you couldn't do that with any other film. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp is the undisputed sort of like comedy. Like there's comedic bits in all of the Marvel films because that's just the universe that they've built. But
It's a Paul Rudd movie.
this is a Paul Rudd
a
comedy
full-on Paul Rudd comedy.
directed by a funny director. Like he's a comedy director. You know, so yeah, I think that that's so perfectly in tone, and it makes me excited.
And I love the logo being like 90s. Like that,
Yeah.
that logo is like an action playset from the Fleer Ultra 1993 card set.
Oh my god!
Like that's what that font is.
But they also released their first plot summary. I think this is the first one from Ant-Man and the Wasp. From the Marvel Cinematic Universe comes a new chapter featuring heroes with the astonishing ability to shriek. Ant-Man and the Wasp. In the aftermath of Captain America: Civil War, Scott Lang, Rudd, grapples with the consequences of his choices as both a superhero and a father. As he struggles to rebalance his home life with the responsibilities as Ant-Man, he's confronted by Hope Van Dyne, Lily, and Dr. Hank Pym, Douglas. With an urgent new mission, Scott must once again put on the suit and learn to fight alongside the Wasp as the team works together to uncover secrets from their past.
Ooh.
It's pretty good, right?
I'm excited. Intrigue, comedy, names.
Yeah.
Scott Lake, run.
Yeah, it sounds like a rescue movie. I like
Yeah,
it.
so I just want to point out he struggles to rebalance his home life, responsibilities as Ant-Man. Hope Van Dyne comes to him with an urgent new mission to work together to uncover secrets from their past. So, I mean, it's
Well,
so
Janet
he's
Van
Ant-Man,
Dyne. Yeah.
and he's being Ant-Man, and then they come to him and say, "Hey, we need you to go be Ant-Man with us." Do you think that he's doing like Ant-Man security like they have in the comics?
I'd love that. That's a fun little, and that Walton Goggins would fit in as one of his.
Like,
would-
as a dude that he's like
That would
working
work
against.
for the mindset of it. Maybe business hasn't been as good.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been a little bit too good at his job, perhaps.
Yeah, I just want to see Grizzly. That's like, I just want to see that dude in the bear
Yes.
suit, just like so hot in
Yes.
his bear suit. Oh, that.
Walton Goggins complaining about being hot in a bear suit would be amazing.
No, but he's not playing that. Like he's
He
playing
is-
like a
he is a
business guy.
peer.
No, I know he would be perfect for Grizzly. He's playing some like creepy
Until that
business
movie
guy,
comes
yeah.
out, he's Grizzly.
But I think that there's something going on. Like I think he's kind of started his own security business, maybe like he has in the comics, and then they come to him and say, "Hey, we need you to come be Ant-Man with us," and he's like, "Whoa, I don't know. Like you've got your Wasp thing going on. Like you guys have it under control. No, we need to go to the quantum realm. You know how to do it."
You know who else be a
Come
great
help us with
Grizzly?
that.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh my
Imagine
god.
Thomas Hayden Church just
Oh my God.
lumbering around in a Grizzly suit, just upset.
Oh my
and his
God.
gravelly voice just
Or
being...
Paul Giamatti.
Oh, no.
We tried that, man. It didn't
I know,
work.
I know.
That's right.
Wrong Sideways cast member.
So, anything from Ant-Man before we move to Black Panther?
Good logo. Great video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walton
On
Goggins
board.
is Grizzly.
On board.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to close it out with some Black Panther news. Letitia Wright explains her take on Princess Shuri. Let's see here. Who is she speaking to? Comicbook.com, I believe, is after San Diego. She says, I play Princess Shuri, and she is the younger sister of King T'Challa, and she is super smart, super intelligent, innovative. She studied with vibranium all her life, used vibranium, and manipulated it in a way that it can be able to be even more powerful. She puts this into the armor. She puts it into the weaponry that we see. And you will see that on February 16th in the film. She's a smart kid.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Yeah,
I'm
it's good.
so on board.
They've made her
Oh,
into
this
a
movie.
tech warrior, and I love that.
I legit
Yeah.
think that like the more I hear, like the more I'm like, she could. I don't want her to be Riri Williams, but she could kind of fill that role as like the Iron Man, like the new Iron Man for Phase 4. Like
They're so separate. They're so different characters, though.
They
Out of
are.
The
They
two
are.
of them, like Riri has this beautiful vulnerability to her
Yeah.
and everything that Shuri isn't of the same type.
Sure.
It's just it's totally different. I like this take that they're having with her,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't need for her to be. Riri can be Ironheart. If they wanted to do like an Iron Man type thing with her, they could. But as far as Ironheart is concerned,
Sure.
like Riri's she's got that on
So
lockdown.
here's-
I'd recommend reading some of the comics.
no, I love the comics.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if it's a fear or just a fan theory or what.
Okay.
But what I'm kind of afraid they're gonna do is kind of pull a Ned Leeds Genki.
And
they're
just
like-
kind of mix the two.
And they're going to be like, no, this is Miles Morales' best friend Genki, but I mean, we're going to call him Ned Leeds and make him Peter Parker's best friend, but he's kind of like this overweight,
Okay,
ethnic child, like who's like friends with Peter Parker now.
Who plays with
And
Legos
it's
and
like-
drops them in much
yeah.
the same scene as Bendis' Miles Morales.
Yeah, it's like no, get Miles Morales Genki, like just. So like that's my fear is that
Okay,
they're
well,
doing that.
It would actually, if they did that, it wouldn't be a horrible thing.
Yeah.
But I would want Riri to be part of the MCU in some way,
In some
shape,
way,
or form.
exactly,
Like
yeah.
later on. I mean, there's a lot of other channels and apps that
What
if they
if-
want to
what
grab
if-
something,
What if they make her
Freeform wants
what if-
something else.
What if they send her to college in America, and she ends up being roommates with Riri Williams,
that would be fantastic.
and then the two of them team up to become like Ironheart and like Iron Woman or something like that? Like I don't know who they would, but
well, original
be
Iron
cool.
Man would be dead by then, so
Well, yeah,
somebody
that's what
would
I'm
have to
saying,
like build his vibranium suit and
that's awesome.
paint it like Iron Man. Your eyes are so big right
I'm
now.
so excited. Like I really want that to be the thing that happens. Like I want to see because don't replace a character. Like have both of them. There's a big enough world for it. I don't know.
Yeah, but as far as her statistics go with what they're doing with Shuri, love it.
Yeah.
I want her personality.
Yeah,
I want to.
agreed.
I'm so interested in what flair that they do with her.
Yeah. So I do kind of think they're taking her a Riri direction, which I think is a mistake. But we'll see. We'll see. February. Like you were there. Like the Black Panther trailer was just like. I was so mad they didn't play it 7 more times.
8,000 people on their feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
On their feet.
Yeah, standing ovation for that. Like,
and just how emotional everybody in the cast was. It was incredible.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Genuinely, amazing. The greatest thing that happened at Comic-Con was watching that. And not just the footage, but watching their reaction to the footage, and like Michael B. Jordan like wiping away a tear at one point. Like it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And I was 6 rows back, so I could see them clear as day. And then I believe it's this actress whose name's escaping me.
Letitia Wright. Yeah.
She was like on the way out. She's like dancing on the way out. Like she's like, this is the greatest thing ever. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Love that. Love that so much.
Andy Serkis explains Ulysses Klaue's vendetta in Black Panther. He says he's the only person who has been into Wakanda and seen the wealth that it has, and he wants to expose that. He believes them to be a hypocritical country. They're playing this kind of we're a third world country card, and he knows what's underlying that, so he's trying to expose that. But I love this next quote. He is the bringer down of governments. He collaborates. He's an arms dealer. He knows how to play people, and he has a personal vendetta against T'Challa as well. Like
Andy Serkis.
Like, but like he said it in that Andy Serkis kind of voice. Yeah. I just like he is the bringer down of governments. Like, oh my god,
they won't have my precious.
Yeah, they won't have.
I can't wait to just
my precious.
Getting to see him finally like as a, Andy Serkis. Like, I'm really excited to see Andy Serkis without dot in his face. Like I'm really excited to see him like get to own a character without it being mocap. Like I'm stoked.
He is bringer down of
like
government.
He gets 5 fully posable fingers and gets to rock out. I'm really stoked for him.
This scene right here, where this picture comes from, where he takes the package out of his pants. It was just so great. Like just
so dirty and gross. And just like you're that guy.
And he's making him do that because he's just you're having to do this to deal with me to get what you want.
It's
like I love
warm. It's still
warm.
warm.
It's still like
it's kind of sweaty.
Oh, gross. And it said fragile. It's like the least fragile thing on earth.
He slams it down. You hear the stone like
sting.
Yeah, it's great.
He also says where he so this is maybe kind of a spoiler, so be careful. Like I guess, but like it's not that big of a deal to me. But he explains where he gets the sonic disruptor that he has in his arm, the folds down thing.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
Well, here he says after he loses his arm, he goes back and retrieves an old mining tool, which he's turned into his sonic disruptor, and he gets to play with it, and it's fun. So it's apparently like, I think it's something that he's used to mine vibranium. Like since it's like vibranium can kind of resist waves, like he's had to find a way to focus very specific sound waves or something. So
yeah, I mean, you think about it, there has to be a particular tool and skill set to be able to mine vibranium.
Uncuttable materials.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have to be able to do that.
And then the shaping of that afterwards. So yeah.
Lastly, I want to talk about Coogler talking about how Black Panther is unique. This is him again. Like comicbook.com just had a lot of like great interviews with people, and he says, so Coogler talking about his film, he's the director, says, obviously T'Challa is an African king, and there hasn't been many movies made about that in any genre. So when you look at the movies of the Marvel movies, off the bat, that's going to make that a very different movie. This movie has a lot of different combinations. You're dealing with a guy who's real like Thor, but he's from Earth, which changes things. It gives it context and it grounds it in a way. Even though we're dealing with a lot of fantastical elements, fantastical technology, it still kind of grounds it in a way that's very unique. It also looks at a lot of things that are topical in the climate right now that you might have to stretch to apply in a science fiction film or in a film that's a little bit more fantastical. For this, we kind of wear it on the surface, which is really interesting and makes it different. So they're tackling a lot. This movie is I think it's going to be huge and awesome and really fun, but I think it's important. Like I think it's like Wonder Woman level of important, and I think if you're like aware of that, I think that's important. So it's
gonna be a hell of a movie. Gonna be something else.
I love having you around just in general, Markia. But like knowing how much you love Black Panther, like there's never been a time where I was like, why is Markia not here right now? Like I was screaming it from my lungs. I was like, oh God.
I only know you from the podcast, and I thought the same thing. Like, seriously, I was in the room and like, there's someone who should be seeing this. It was amazing.
I was doing a comedy festival.
No, which I think is great and
It was
amazing,
great.
and you should have been there.
It went so well. 2 shows.
Good.
So, yeah.
Stand up?
No, it's my improv team, the Revengers. We do an ongoing comic book series.
Oh, that's great.
So with our own
cool.
canon, we have the Revengerverse. Actually, my character is Evelyn Regency, and her name is Raven Batclaw.
Oh my God!
Which she keeps on changing around for
Bat
just a
Ravenclaw.
mess. Yeah,
Claw
so
Raven Bat.
Ravenclaw Batman one time. But she is a billionaire genius. She's based off of Tony Stark.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
She's a total dick. It's fantastic.
Is she?
And she's very alcoholic.
Is she the villain or the hero?
Oh, she's a hero.
Okay,
she's one
good.
of the Revengers.
Good.
But her suit's made out of nanites. My God, yeah.
That's cool. So we don't have printouts, so you don't have the social media stuff directly in front. Oh, you do? Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So while you're pulling that up, let me throw this out there.
Okay.
We got a couple questions through our email. Because we have an email, and we have it posted on our...
We have an email?
We have an email.
So confusing.
It's posted on our Twitter page.
Internet's a series of tubes.
So we have from a gentleman named Drew. Question on the new Warriors TV show. Do you guys think it will be filmed in front of a live studio audience? No, that is a single camera comedy. The new Warriors.
But the question, would I watch a single camera superhero comedy? Yes, I would.
But what about a sitcom? Would you watch a sitcom?
Yes, I would.
A
Because
superhero
we haven't done that
sitcom?
yet.
So
Yeah.
wait, the Tick.
Yeah, but like a live studio
But, like,
audience,
live
I would love to
studio
like
audience.
sit and be like, well, hijinks the apartment, blah, blah, like, yes, in.
Then
I think
also,
that'd be an interesting twist.
Rich and Jenna Farrell emailed us saying, as the cinematic universe progresses, do you rewatch past movies with a different understanding of the past choices the characters made from the future and the future choices they make? For instance, I just watched Iron Man again, and it gives an understanding of why Tony was so hurt by Steve's decision to not sign the Accords. Obadiah hurt him so deeply. I don't think I have. I've never gone back and looked at that, but I think what he's saying is like Obadiah Stane betrayed him,
Right.
and then he feels like maybe Steve betrayed him. He's like, no, but you're my friend. Why would no? Come on, bro.
Yeah,
we're bros.
And then also keep awesome facial bros. No, that's Thor.
Yeah.
No, but also there's Steve hid the fact of his parents' murderer.
Yeah, that's kind of a...
that doesn't really,
Yeah.
for me, that doesn't really touch on the Obadiah stuff so much as you knew my parents' murderer and you didn't tell me.
Yeah,
That's
kind of messed up.
that's way out there.
That's messed up.
Yeah, you're not getting any Christmas cards anymore, dude.
I used to
That's
try
for a
to.
while.
I used to try to watch like it's a Civil War came out. I try to watch Winter Soldier and Cap 1 before it. I try to watch the ones that are like linear in that path because it's you can't watch 15 movies in a row. I can't. But I've done that with Iron Man as recently as Iron Man 3, and it's really cool to look back at like how the actor evolves through each of the films. Like Downey Jr. has developed, obviously, in that first movie, he gets the arc of going from just weapons dealing asshole into I'm a good guy into like now he feels and he emotes and like just the growth in the eyes of Downey Jr. is beautiful. So I recommend as movies come out just like re-explore why you think their arcs are and what they are, and it's a really fun thing to do. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So before Black Panther, rewatch Civil War.
Yeah, exactly that path.
Before Homecoming, I rewatched Civil War.
Exactly. Like it's good to have at least a 1-2 punch to go into these things.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna rewatch the Mark Ruffalo. I mean, I want to watch the Ed Norton Hulk before Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Because that
I've seen
way-
that in forever.
Because the prequel comic right now, there's a Thor prequel comic for Thor Ragnarok, and it's all about the Hulk movie.
Really?
So that makes me think it's going to be very important for Thor Ragnarok. Fun fact: Marvel's releasing that comic, so I think it's going to be important.
Oh, cool. That's good to know.
Do you get the socials
I do.
pulled up there?
All right, so our shout outs: Nick Bartlett at Nick James 164, Christy Stoops at Kitty Toops, Charles Lee at GoofyFan_Chuck, Reclaiming My Time at Darkskin T Daria.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Biochemistry at Kimberly Ann Mutz, Jocelyn at Bad Wolf Bay 10, and Richard Russo at Danger Russo 22. Okay, so love watching you guys every week. Could I get a birthday shout out for mine this past Sunday? Who is this?
Is that No Prying Eyes? I think I saw that. Cesar Lozano? Is that the one?
Oh,
I
man.
believe so. I don't have the.
If it is
person
you, I
on
saw that.
here.
And happy birthday, No Prying Eyes. I hope it was rad.
Let me see if I've got it on my Twitter here.
Okay, so while you check that.
Keep going.
Caesar Lozano, that was the one you just read. No prying eyes. Happy birthday last Sunday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Caesar.
Okay, and then our picture here, it's from Ron Jones at Ron Jones 03. I believe this is his progeny that he has here in this picture.
It is! How cute is this?
Showed him, he's 3 years old, Spider-Man in Civil War. He can't stop reenacting Spidey taking Cap's shield.
Yes.
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 How cute is that? How cute, like,
That's
and like,
awesome.
and I love he's watching it with Spidey and Cap. He's watching the movie with Spidey and Cap.
Yes.
And then we see him like, Spider. He's like,
just happened.
He's just like this is how I played it. It's like so fun to watch.
Yeah.
So fun just
There
to see
weren't
the
digital
pictures.
cameras when we were this age, so
Yeah.
taking pictures is much more rare. So I love seeing this because there's like they get hundreds of thousands of image of them doing the things we did without pictures.
Yeah. So fun. Thank you for sharing that, Ron. That was really cool. That was good to see. What else we got?
Okay, so we have one. Did we already answer this from Colt Badeau? But what if Nick Fury is a Skrull?
We did.
We did.
Okay, we did. answer
We
that.
talked about that. Yeah.
Okay, we answered Ash's last week. We have Ashley Houchins. I'm never gonna just tweet Houchins.
Ashley-
Tweet
yeah.
me phonetically how it goes, and I'll get it right. Do you think the sword Hela is holding is Surtur's sword Twilight?
I don't know that it is. I don't think it is.
don't think it's big
I don't
enough.
think it's
No,
big
it's big
enough.
enough.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
he's a
gonna-
fire
It's like-
giant. Like he's 1,000 times bigger than the Hulk.
huge.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's that one. So what else we got?
Okay. Well, Star Eli has one at eFixed on Flicks. Is Bill Foster / Goliath modern day or flashback? If flashback, what other heroes do you think worked with Hank Pym / Ant-Man?
Oh man,
I think he's modern day.
I think he's current. I think he's
would
contemporary.
think he would be modern day.
Yeah,
Because I just feel like that would make a lot more sense and to move the story along. Than do a flashback and then also have the Janet Van Dien thing trying to do, unless he's trapped in tinyverse, microverse.
I think
with her.
I think there's two possibilities. I think that he's either trapped with her, which doesn't make as much sense to me.
It doesn't.
What I think probably happens is Hank Pym finally recognizes you can get to the quantum realm. We don't fully understand how to get there or anything else. I've been trying to do this by myself for years.
And then
I'm going to go to my old colleague.
Goliath.
We maybe had a falling out. I'm going to have to sort of like humble myself. Hey, come help me figure out how to save my wife from the quantum realm, or if it's even possible. Hey, Scott Lang, by the way, we think we figured out how to go to the quantum realm. Come help us. I've got this guy here, Bill Foster. By the way, he knows how to grow. He can help you with the Giant Man stuff.
Yeah. Ooh,
So-
I like that. I would like that one moment where Bill Foster's like, he sees him at the door, like, nope.
Yeah.
Like, slam, nope.
Lawrence
nope,
Fishburne.
Nope,
I'm so excited to
nope.
have him in the Marvel Cinematic finally.
I was actually thinking that'd be kind of a funny bit where, you know how like Ant-Man has like the little red thing he throws when
Yeah.
they shrink, or
Yeah.
blue thing, and so you could see Lawrence Fishburne with like the
Holding a
little red
red and a
thing
blue.
and the blue in his hand, like it's a
Oh
callback to
my
like the
God.
Matrix.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
God.
Like I thought that'd be
Slow
kind of a
clap,
funny.
John.
If
Slow
they
clap.
do that, slow clap in the theater.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like,
Have
you know,
100%.
Have
The
to.
moment that he sees Keanu Reeves in John Wick 2, I'm like, this is everything I needed.
Yeah.
Like, that was just such a good moment.
Okay. All right. Do we want a Namor question or an Avengers question?
Let's go
So-
Avengers.
Avengers. Okay, so this is from Patrick Perfield at Pat_Perf. I want to know which Avengers each of you thinks will die in Avengers 3.
Should've got Namor. Should've got Namor.
Should have got Namor.
Should've got
Yeah.
Namor.
Oh, I
Too
don't
bad
wanna...
the other one's going to have to wait until next week.
Oh.
Iron Man.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Iron Man's gone. Yeah.
I think Iron Man and Cap both.
Yeah,
That's
I
my
think you're probably
second
right,
bet.
yeah.
Like, my second choice is both, but at least Iron Man.
I think out of those two, Cap first,
Yeah.
because Iron Man will watch, and then he'll die.
Yeah. I think Thor makes it out because they have future
Spider-Man's
plans for
going to
him.
be paralyzed. I think that's that scene where Peter is like,
Oh,
on the ground and saying,
I'm
I'm
so
sorry,
sorry, yeah.
as in he can't move.
Oh.
So if we're about to get this is such a great note to end this show on. Oh my god.
I've got-
No, I actually do have...
iTunes review.
I do think Hawkeye will live.
He better.
I do.
He's
think
got a family on a
Hawkeye
farm.
Exactly.
They need to do well. They have a dad to go home to. I have an iTunes review real quick.
yeah,
It's
do
very
it.
sweet. So we got one new iTunes review that I love dearly. I'm going to read it real quick. The Becca Man says, we are marvelous with 5 stars. Just finished all 138 plus episodes.
God.
Were you on a road
Whoa.
trip?
5 weeks of seamless Marvel saturation. So when I just joked about watching all the Marvel movies, this dude did that with us. This podcast is informative and fun. The MMN team and its guests are effervescent. They truly get us just as excited as they are. I hope to see you guys at SDCC. Dude, I hope you saw these guys, and that's amazing.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
We're
Great.
actually scheming a thing for next year with
DC, yeah, to do a panel.
We're
Yeah.
thinking about, so that segues nicely into us doing a DC Marvel as it should be team up Amalgam Universe SDCC next year. So if you guys want that, tweet at us and we'll scheme something
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
this guy, dude, 138 episodes in 5
That's
weeks.
fantastic.
Dude, you're a hero.
Yeah. So
Dude.
It's not even a slow clap.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
full
legit.
No, that's a
clap,
legit
man.
clap.
that's
Yeah.
nicely done.
You've seen more of our show than I have.
Much more than I have. I wasn't even in the beginning.
So
Neither was
I personally want to end on this one. We got an email to our account. It is from a gentleman named John T. Cahill. He says, I'm a cartoonist out of New Jersey. I'm a huge fan of the show. Actually had a shout out once from Coy. Recently graduated from School of Visual Arts in New York City. Currently working on graphic novels for children. Have a website called acecartooning.com where I post all my work. I try and post a new gag comic every week on my site and Instagram at acecartooning. The fan art I've attached, we've got it here, is a mashup of Spider-Man Homecoming and Rick and Morty in honor of kind of Rick and Morty's premiere this past weekend.
Right.
I made it up with you guys in mind. Please enjoy it and feel free to share it if you'd like. And if it's all possible, if I could get a shout out for my Instagram, it'd be great. He hopes that we enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming as much as he did.
Oh, yeah.
So I reached back out to him. Was like, hey, it's really cool. Like, what kind of stuff do you do? And he's actually working on a comic right now for kids who have learning disorders and might have a hard time focusing on reading.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, that's great.
So, everyone, if you're a fan of our show, we are now a giant fan of Ace Cartooning. Please go support this gentleman as he tries to help kids.
Yeah, that's rad, man.
Help kids out. And it's just a fun picture. It's a great picture. So
Yeah, for our iTunes people, it's Spider-Man with, it's got to be Rick, because there's a monobrow, but he doesn't have gray hair. So let's say young Rick. Young Rick.
Rick
Rick Stark.
And he goes, you got to web him up, Spidey. And then he belch. Web him up real good.
That's fantastic.
And he's doing the
yeah,
the web kind of thing, like on his eyes.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like supposed to be like Stark Rick.
Yeah, Stark Rick. Yeah.
Stark
Rick Stark.
Rick. There
Rick
we go.
Stark.
Rick.
Rick Stark.
You gotta web him up, Spidey.
Rick Stark.
Rick Stark.
I just did a Rick and Morty marathon over the weekend
So good.
because of that whole picture that they said, we got the sauce.
Oh my
So I
God.
was like, well,
So
I gotta
good.
watch this now.
You gotta watch. Had you never seen it?
I had never seen it before this
so
weekend.
good.
I'm trying to
And
just
now-
watch
It's
cartoons.
so
It's my
amazing.
first one.
Oh, you're
I don't watch cartoons. I'm trying to break in with Rick and Morty and
I
Archer.
really liked Lawnmower Dog, where it's like, oh, these cute little dogs took over the earth like
Took over
they
the earth.
should.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
a-holes.
Yep. So that's our show.
Great.
John, do you have
Yeah.
anything you want to add before we take off?
No, this was great. Thanks for letting me hang out.
No, thanks for coming on. Thanks for having the report from San Diego Comic-Con panels that we couldn't get to.
Check out his book.
Smoke
Yeah,
and
Smoke
Mirrors.
and
Mirrors.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yep.
And where can people find you on the internet?
At Cardjon on Twitter.
Great.
CARDJON.
Great. Okay, Markia, what do you got going on?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty. That's MarkeiaMcCarty. I do WWE Raw Wrestling After Show, not in that order, for our sister network, AfterBuzz TV, and I do that Mondays with Johnny LaQuasto from DC Movies. So that's Mondays at 8:30. Sorry, I'm also trying to remember all the other things
Do your thing.
that I'm doing. So I just did a show for Z420.com. It's called Edibles, but they were looking for a Doctor Who expert, and so we talked about Doctor Who, and they're
Awesome.
very pleasant people.
That's
if
fun.
you want to check out their website and maybe see that. And then also this upcoming week, some more wrestling stuff. I will be doing I don't know the name of the podcast. I'll tweet the name of the podcast. But it's with Sarah the Rebel, and I'll be doing all about wrestling and females in wrestling podcast, and that'll be next Tuesday.
That's super
a little
fun.
bit after this show, actually.
That's so you.
Yeah.
Wrestling and Marvel.
Yeah.
Koi?
You can find me here every week. Yesterday, I did body art for the upcoming Conor McGregor-Mayweather fight, which I am so excited about. So I got fully tatted up as Conor McGregor, and it was so rad. You can find that on Jody Steele and mine's Instagram. Jody Steele's awesome. And then tomorrow, I can't talk about the thing, but I might be able to soon. And then Thursday, I'm movie fighting again. So I'm fighting and Dan's judging. So I'm curious how that goes. Yeah, the champ's judging. So I'll be on movie fights on Thursday. So stuff's cool. And I love you guys on Twitter.
Screen Junkies.
Yeah, Screen Junkies, movie fights. And all the stuff we talked about today, you guys on Twitter have been really rad. And Chris Ecto at the art last week. People have been asking about it. Chris Ecto, find him on Etsy and Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes, he was the one that did the Black Panther pictures that are on my Instagram.
My name is Matt Key. You can find me here on Tuesdays at 2:30. Also on the Wednesday Club at Geek on Sundry's Twitch. That's tomorrow night, Wednesday, as its name says. Tomorrow we're talking with Hector Navarro about Spider-Man.
Wow.
We're just going to kind of do a basic overview of Spider-Man with him because he came by and said, I want to be on your show and I can talk about Spider-Man. We were like, that sounds fun. Let's do that. So that's tomorrow on Geek on Sundry's Twitch. And I write for Geek Girl Authority every day. Find my stuff there. And we'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.